Wow, this Friday we lucked into Darlene Burcham, Town Manager for the town of Clifton Forge. And Darlene's had years of experience, like 6 years here in Clifton Forge, and prior to that, 10 years as the city manager in Roanoke. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about securing this monumental amount of money for the road funds for the project out near Kroger.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a multi-year effort and involves multiple sources of funding, starting with what was a small balance from the bridge reconstruction there on Main Street. We had about $268,000 left from that project, and so I immediately tried to grab a hold of that money and see if it could be applied to another project, and specifically what we call the access road. VDOT was more than willing to do that, and so that sent me on a quest for other funding.
Been an interesting quest.
Oh yeah, very much so. I felt like I was on The Price is Right, where one door, you choose one door and your prize isn't behind it, but you're given the chance to choose another door. I started looking for what was then called industrial access funds, and they had just changed the rules, and it could not be used on a road that actually entered onto a main highway, such as Main Street. So I went to another source, which was the Appalachian Regional Commission, was successful in writing a grant that garnered $500,000.
And this is a fairly competitive process with
very
ARC,
much so, yeah.
right?
So then I had about $250,000, and I had an estimate that said that it would probably cost about that amount of money. So we proceeded with the more detailed design. We had a conceptual design at that point. And lo and behold, when the new number came in for construction, it was $1.7 million for construction, not the $750,000, with the $1 million mostly applied to removing a lot of the rock that they found in their investigation, as well as some new stormwater regulations that had come in the meantime. So I applied for a second $500,000 of ARC money, finally was awarded that. Received notification that late 2012, we're in the final reviews by in the early to late spring,
And when you get to the top of the hill,
able to secure from the Allegheny how it could be laid out, presented to us a fourth parcel that's not owned by the town. I have spoken with them, and they're interested, developed as well. And then we have the 2-acre parcel that the town just approved selling to Kroger. So that configuration of 3 parcels at the top may change depending on who's interested and how much land they want. We estimate that each of those 3 parcels might have up to 60 employees at each, and so that really helps us to calculate both the utility needs and the traffic needs for the road.
wow. And during a recent council meeting, it was announced you hit the ball out of the park with the Kroger agreement, that 2 acres, basically $25,000. But tell us a little bit about this. This is going to be a fuel station?
A fueling station, and I've actually been working with Kroger for 3.5 years to make that happen. They were interested in coming to our community. You probably know that most Kroger stores have a fueling center nearby, if not on the same property. In this case, Kroger was not interested in having the fueling center on their own or their existing site where the Kroger grocery store was. That's a very tight site, as you know. But they were very interested and intrigued with the idea that the town-owned property that we would be willing to sell. And they were also interested in the access road, which was a part of our plans at that time, with the understanding that they could have a separate entrance off of that road into and out of the fueling station. Kroger has estimated that they're going to spend about $1.4 million in construction. That number may change as they go in and do their due diligence. Maybe they'll find some of that rock that we found, unfortunately. But they estimate that they'll employ probably up to 6 individuals. Now, the great thing about that in my mind is that it will bring more traffic into the town, because I'm convinced that they'll put a fueling sign out there on the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
It will allow a lot of our people that are traveling to Daleville now to use those points that they've earned, to use them right here in town. And I have hopes, although no guarantees at all, But I have hopes that if we can generate enough interest, both in the fueling center and more interest in the store, who knows, maybe years from now we might get an upgraded store. But that has not been anything that they've been willing to discuss. They feel very comfortable with the kind of volumes that they have right now. I'm not satisfied, but they are.
Well, it's certainly a home run by any standard. I'm sure many people in town would like to get a feel for the traffic implication. Was there any kind of a traffic study or
That was all
may have
part,
indicated
yeah.
what's going to happen out in that area?
Well, again, until you get actual prospects, it's hard to be totally accurate on that. But as we had the business park design done, looking at utilities, we also looked at traffic and traffic issues. And they've estimated that on a daily weekday count, we might have 600 to 700 vehicles, that's the up and down, not counting those that would be going just to the fueling center. But there will be a turn lane that will be a part of the improvement as you're coming off of Main Street onto what will be named Hickory Road.
Well, this is what I call a home run for Clifton Forge and the surrounding area. And we hope you'll join us again to talk about other town issues.
Sure, we've got plenty of them going, that's for sure, including Con of the Mountain tonight.
Great. Thanks very much.